Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. All right, let's get some of this stuff off the list. I have so much to do. Just so much. Okay, so edit today. Adam is going to be doing mostly game design today. He wants to figure out which sub games should go into checkpoint 3 and address some other concerns that have arisen from playtesting. He'll probably do some development here and there. Okie dokes. So there's our today command. Let's get this onto the Thursday list now. Yeah, this is from Matt. I'll write this over here. Hey Kyle. How do you do? I'm doing well. I did another playtest yesterday and I think it was good. I think it's illuminating whenever you get different sort of personas playing your game. So game developer versus casual gamer versus hardcore gamer versus whatever other things you think of. And I think the biggest feedback from yesterday was go a little bit more over the top with everything. And I'm inclined to agree. The other thing that's been nice from the playtest is one of the questions I asked is like, what's the smallest demo you can think of? And so far, it seems like people are in agreement that 3 cutscenes should happen. And the game order is like locked, quote unquote, in the order like platformer, farmer, and then something. The something can change. And I actually think the something should be the dungeon racer because I think it's the most unique of the games and everyone seems to have fun with that. So I think we put that third in the demo, but not necessarily third in the full version. And then do something where we check your save file. And if you play the demo, we don't show you that game again later. I thought of a bunch of other ideas too. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself because I don't think a demo is important for at least another probably like couple months. I want it to be maybe even more polished before I get there. Hey, Bob. But yeah, things have been going well. Semi-secret news was basically just I registered some domains finally. I got xtonomous.com and stuck in a broken tutorial.com. And the only reason why this is news is because I currently still have an email address, adam@bot.land. And then I got Adam at Skeleseller. And what's going on? Huh, that's weird. Am I on the wrong profile? I am. Then I got Adam at Skeleseller.com. And the problem is like, okay, I want to eventually email people about this game. I'm not going to use skeleseller.com as my domain or bot.land as my domain. So I want to have Xtonomous be my email. Now, what I found out is I use Zoho as my provider. You can't have 2 domains without paying money. I got to pay whatever. It's not expensive, but I'm just locked into this for the rest of the time I want to still use skeleseller.com. And the reason I might still want to use this is I might want to follow up with people that I reached out to for Skeleseller and say like, hey, would you want to play this new game? And they'd be like, oh yeah, I remember this game. I remember this thread with this person. So anyway, minor stuff, but that's the news. So we're going to mostly be in design documents today. In fact, let's open it up a few times. Are there any easy things we can do? Yeah, let's do some like kind of random tasks throughout. Actually, yesterday my friend was playing on Linux and I did not have a Linux build set up. So I just asked AI like, hey, go set up a Linux build basically. And 5 minutes later, we had a Linux build. So that was pretty nice. Allow for building on Linux. I set up the Go Burrito configuration for this, so it should be simple in the future. Now, my friend did try on Proton, but for whatever reason, it didn't work. I don't know if that's a permanent thing or what. We didn't really spend a lot of time, troubleshooting. So it's possible that it's still going to be a problem in the future. I don't know. We'll figure that out later too. So that it feels less floaty. Change the helm, put a delay, and go activate the portal. Okay, so this. These ones I think are important enough to do. Important and or easy. Anything else? You come back to this screen, but play as a hue slider in a color-based game. Need to accommodate color blindness. We eating burritos? No, burritos. Build release tool. I actually been craving a burrito. How's it going, Dev Zone? All right, so here's some of the dev tasks we'll do. No, not boo. Boo. Totally different. All right, so I'm going to give a couple of tasks throughout the day to this, and we'll just let it run. So in the loot boxes game, walking into the portal is enough to trigger its dialogue. I want to change this so that it gets outlined if it's the nearest object, and the player has to press the interaction button in order to spawn the dialogue. That way they don't accidentally open the dialogue and then choose go to leave the game. Yeah. All right. So let's run that. Let's think about some game design stuff. So this is the first question. How do we stop each game from becoming incremental? And this is not an easy question. So what's the word? Carcinization? Okay, it's apparently got an S. But yeah, form of convergent evolution in which non-crab crustaceans evolve a crab-like body plan. So this is what I feel like would happen here. This is like the incrementalization of the game. Okay, so question. How do we stop each subgame from becoming incremental? So far, the platformer, not really a game. Farming game, not really a game. And then there's the top-down shooter. This is incremental. The loot boxes game, definitely incremental. And the dungeon racer, kind of incremental. Just doesn't really feel that way, like you are getting better. Yeah, I don't mind having even like 40% of the games be incremental. But I don't want them all to be. I know this is 60%, but these ones don't really count. The point is that once we get to designing games, you need to think of how are we managing difficulty. So I think there are two components to making for like why I made them incremental. It was what was most fun for those games, and it allows the player to overcome the difficulty. Always leave on the fly from the market level, right? You're saying how you can take the portal early? Because yes, you can leave, but if you were to stay, it's an incremental game. And just allowing you to leave all of these games wouldn't change their natures of being incremental. So it's like if you look at, I don't know, like Super Mario Bros. You know, classic example. It's a platformer. There is no difficulty selector. There is no way to make the game easier for yourself, except a few small secrets like hidden one-ups or something. But otherwise, it's a skill game. If you either can beat it or you can't beat it. And some players probably just never beat Super Mario Bros. Because it was too hard. Or yeah, they didn't figure out, I don't know, what to do basically. Hey, Captain Anosa. Happy Wednesday. Hope you're doing well. So the problem with skill games, if you're going to have them be in a series of other games, is that you don't know ahead of time what the difficulty should be, I guess. We could maybe figure it out from how well you did in the other games, although that might not correlate to how you would do in a new one. So like in Dungeon Racer, for example, we might say something like, you fell 13 times. And we might have a category, like a secret category, that says like, you are bad. And if we say something like you fell 2 times, we have secret category saying like you are good. And then from here we choose easy difficulty, and from here we choose like a hard difficulty for the player. Now, that's also not the best way of doing things for a whole bunch of reasons. Maybe you had fun playing this game, but it doesn't mean you want it to be difficult afterward. So yeah, it was what was most fun for those games. So that this, if making a game incremental is the most fun, then it's probably what we should do. The issue is that practically any game can become incremental this way. Maybe the only real problem is when something is overtly incremental. Like the top-down shooter doesn't really feel incremental, nor does the Dungeon Racer. Yeah, this is maybe the conclusion here. Because if you think about it, isn't something like Legend of Zelda, wouldn't you consider that to be incremental too if you use these same definitions? Like you get the boomerang and then you just keep it. And you get the bow and arrow and then you just keep it. And you can now use this from here on out. And it makes some enemies easier. You get bombs, you get a whole bunch of other things. You get different armor upgrades, sword upgrades. But I would not call that an incremental game at all. I guess the defining characteristic of incremental game is that the increments are pretty small and there are tons of them. So like there might be hundreds, whereas in Legend of Zelda, even if you were very generous, you might say there are like 40 or something. So yeah, maybe this is the conclusion we come to here. Now, how do we address the second point, which is it allows the player to overcome the difficulty? So yeah, how do we surface difficulty such that a game might be hard at first? Well, maybe such that a hard game isn't unbeatable for some players. And it comes down to the same basic options. Option one, introduce mercy mechanics. And these are not mutually exclusive. Have a selectable difficulty. Maybe you can change it while playing. Option three. So this is something like in Dungeon Racer, red coins have a chance to double in value. Well, not just red coins. Coins have a chance to double in value if you fall too much. Like this is a mercy mechanic. Option three that I'm about to say is not really mercy, which is like have the game get easier the longer you play it. In the top-down shooter, stats last forever. So as long as you can get a single stat upgrade, you can theoretically beat it. Always beat it. Yeah. All right, option four. Maybe like allow skipping the game. This isn't something we can do more than like once or twice at best. And I guess option 2A to B would be something like have different paths through the game with inherent difficulties. Like imagine a level selector where going left says easy and going right says difficulty hard. And then you can, I mean, this is a different way of having a selectable difficulty. And I think there's some Mario game, Super Mario Wonder. Yeah. Like Worlds map. They had, I think they had the difficulty show up somewhere. Do they? Am I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong thing. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, it's not that hard to envision that. Yeah, there'd be a selectable difficulty. And I think my overall conclusion is this probably isn't worth belaboring right now. Yeah. Modify the drop rate of power-ups, so it will allow clearing the level easier if the player seems to struggle. Yeah, that's the mercy mechanic sort of thing that we would do. And we have that, I guess another example is in the top-down shooter, every time you die, you get plus, like, you get even more power-ups than before. Yeah. Okay. Well, um, I want to reiterate something that I said earlier. So a friend of mine play tested yesterday, and his main feedback was things should be more over the top. So for example, brokenness should be even more obviously broken, and the tutorial aspect should probably be played up a bit. So as an example of this, one of the things that he said was in the platformer, I'm just going to pull this level up, platformer. And the platformer, you are looking at a screen like this, try to collect the diamonds in one go, and you fall through the world. And you fall and you fall and you fall and you land in the Architect's Realm. He said, you know, there are fake platforms and other platformers. It's like kind of broken, but it's not so broken that it's unfathomable. And it happens pretty quickly. He's like, maybe instead of just having you fall through the world, you have like source code showing up here. And it's like, whoa, I've never seen that in a game before. Like the source code shows up behind the wall. So like, yes, that's a kind of idea that I think is more over the top broken and will communicate to players that like, okay, this is very different from what I've seen before. So I think we got to keep this in mind. And I was kind of thinking that as you play this, the games get more and more broken anyway, or like kind of glitchier, I guess. So as the reason I mentioned this is because I want to find out what to do with these asset packs. What is this? Yeah, I want to find out what to do with these asset packs that we have. And it's not going to be just like make another platformer, you know? It's going to have to be like make a platformer that has this broken mechanic. Hey, Goose. Happy Wednesday. Yeah, and I had said maybe we'll just prototype some stuff and see. The thing is, let's say we had done that and now we're looking at this. And instead of this being a picture, it is just a game. And we can move this character around and jump. I don't think it's going to spark any ideas right off the bat. Now, one thing I did think of just now as I was looking at this, though, is that we could have each of these scenes be in a grid. And maybe you need to move them around such that they connect. Like it's like a level editor game. I'll write this down. Dagon pack and what to do with it. So I bought these assets, but I don't have a game figured out yet. Random ideas. It may be neat to combine a platformer with a level designer. Like you have to arrange a grid of screens such that you can traverse them. Not sure exactly how that would be fun. It's just different. Hey, Cuddlefish, hey, Remy. Could have it so multiple incongruous asset packs mingling and the effect gets more as you play, as if corruption was occurring. Yeah, so that's another thing I think we should employ at some point. And I will explicitly write this down. But like, yeah, Cuddlefish suggested that we mix asset packs at some point in like obviously mismatched ways. Yeah, so my take is we're finding a game for this. I really like this artwork. I don't know why. It's really nice. It's colorful. It's still casual looking. There are enough different animations that we have that we could use for this. I wonder how many let me go take a look at the assets that we have. Downloads, assets I bought. Here we go. Where's the skeleton? Here. Okay. Yeah, let's put this over in here. Archer, normal, and warrior. What do we have here? Projectile. Oh, just an arrow. All right. Attack, death, falling, hurt, idle, jumping, run, slide, walk, and wall side. Okay. Part of what I was thinking about is just seeing, where did that picture go? Yeah, these. Just seeing this. It might be kind of interesting to have like you are an archer, but you can turn into a skeleton at will. And depending on like what kind of platforming segment you might switch. Now, platformers have done this before, although I don't think it's usually you turning into a skeleton. I think it's you turning into another character. Hi, Zebins. Welcome in. Maybe you could play as either your human form or a skeleton form. Hey, Kojin. You turn into a skeleton to avoid dying instantly. Oh yeah, you know what? Maybe it's an Ikaruga like mechanic where the skeleton can't take damage but dies to food, and the human dies to damage but eats food. Like an apple gets thrown at you, and if you're in the human form, you recover life. And a bone gets thrown at you, and if you're in the skeleton form, I don't know, you just don't take damage or something. We could even have it swap weapons. Hey, Andy. You heal. Yeah, you could heal, I guess, if you got hit by a bone. Could absorb it into your rib cage. You just have a million ribs at the end of the game. All right, what else do we have here? So that on its own is still not super convincing to me. Like, I think that's a cool idea. I don't know if we have like apples and stuff, although drawing an apple or two and some kind of projectile wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, like the skeleton can walk on spikes. Skeleton could walk on spikes. The archer could maybe, or like the human would have to have some mechanic as well. Is the writing in video games like the writing in movies, or is it different? In terms of coming up with a story, they're pretty much the same, but how you play out that story would be different because a game is just an interactive movie sometimes. So a movie is not interactive except for that one Netflix one that they made. But yeah, you're like your choices don't matter in a movie. You can't steer the plot. So that's actually a really important part for lots and lots of narrative games out there is, hey, a choice you made in the beginning of the game might change the ending of the game, or you might befriend different characters or see different environments as a result of what you do. But you still need an overall, well, if you're going to have a story, you need an overall plot, you need characters, you need arcs for those characters, you need probably dialogue. You don't have to have all this stuff, but you probably do if it's a narrative game. This is interesting. The idea of controlling two different characters isn't that unique for platformers, but having it be the same character but a human or a skeleton is pretty different. Hey, Sean. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, the Netflix movie Bandersnatch. I said Netflix, but I think I meant Black Mirror, but it was on Netflix. Perhaps having is you can see the placeholder assets flicker in and out, or you get to a point where you just run out of nice art. There was an MMO now canceled, where they fleshed out the mechanics but polished a small corner to show people and try to garner more interest. It was interesting seeing what looked ready and not ready to see. Yeah. So this is one of the things my friend had commented on though, is like in the top-down shooter in the boss room, you break this wall on the right, all the orange tiles get broken, and it's just gray underneath. He said like just having plain gray space doesn't communicate broken in the same way that like a glitched texture would, or yeah, some shader effect that you'd have on here. And I agree. I think we can play those up a bit, and I want to do that. Maybe the human can touch grass, but the skeleton can't. This is one of the high level ideas that it's decent. I wouldn't say it's great so far. Do we have No, you don't have this written down already. Okay, well, let's write this here somewhere. Dagon game. I just mean a game using these assets that I already purchased. So high level ideas could have you controlling a character that can freely switch between human and skeleton forms. This would be like Ikaruga in platformer form. When you're a human, grass and food is fine, but spikes and attacks hurt you. When you're a skeleton, spikes and attacks are fine, but grass and food hurt you. Totally silly because it's meticulously animated, but funny because it's the sort of thing that happens elsewhere by mistake. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's tough too because I want there to be unique effects. Like one of the things that my friend suggested was why not just have the same effect every time you leave the game that's like obviously broken and allows people to piece together that that's how it's broken. Almost like leaving through a portal every time, but maybe something more glitchy. And I was like, yeah, but I want there to be variety. And also, he doesn't know much about the story yet because I didn't share, but like the architect didn't mean for any of these things to be in the game. So if they were all broken in the same way, it would imply that they knew or that they could have known, as opposed to just like, oh, I didn't realize you could destroy the wall in that part of the world. All right, so here's a high level idea. Let's think of some other things that we've got here. I mean, what other platformer ideas could we do? So there's this idea I had a while ago that might work for this, where you grow, like you literally grow as a character. And as you get bigger, you crush platforms, or maybe like the camera would zoom out and you would see more and more of the world. I think this could work for this game. I don't know about these assets, but this could definitely work for Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. Like you're in this world and you get a power up and you get larger, and now you can't fit between these tiny spaces anymore. I like this idea. I think this is a cool idea. I mean, we have a lot of graphics here and it'd be nice to use them all, especially because, I mean, I paid for them. We got, like I said, a lot of them, right? Knight, mage, mimic chest, mushroom, goblin. Maybe you fight against a slime king. Maybe you outgrow the entire world and you're in some like untextured nowhere zone. So basically we sell it as growth platformer. You keep growing and growing every so often. And the world reacts to your size. You crush small platforms. Enemies run from you. What was I going to say about this? Oh yeah, so we would sell this as a real platformer and have a level or two like normal. Maybe the tutorial is trying to tell you not to do a particular thing. Like, don't kill enemies. It'll make you stronger. But you like yourself just the way you are. that actually plays into the overall story about game design. Press 180 streams. My goodness, you've turned completely around at this point. You are now walking away from the stream. Happy Wednesday. I was thinking about your this. I indeed already left. Goodbye. Goodbye. Okay, I love this idea. I always wanted to do this, and this probably makes the most sense. And other than making this like a mini game, I don't know how else we would do it. So I think that's what we're gonna do. We'll need to prototype it and everything. But yeah, I think we go with this. Let's write the other ideas that I had. The camera would zoom out and you'd see more and more of the world. We may need to procedurally generate some of it. Yeah. Okay. So I think this is done then, right? Or at least done enough for now. Now let's go back to this for a bit. Fix portal interaction flow. Let's go try this out. Because like I said, I want to do some development throughout today. Just the stuff that's very low energy for me. Oh, whoops, I forgot to look at what my AI usage was. I still like noting this. It was 67%. And now it is at 66%. Okay, anyway, let's go take a look at the game. So now you go into the loot boxes game, and you shouldn't just be able to walk into the portal. I'll speed this up. So if you do walk into it, nothing happens, but it selects the portal, and then you press the button, and it asks if you want to leave. Perfect. Yep, that's exactly what I want. Good job, AI. Good job. Oh, interesting. Did it move this? Wow, it moved it. It found out that it's no longer common across games. Sorry, I had to sneeze. Sometimes I can sneeze on expert mode where you call that out first and then you're still able to sneeze. This is not one of those times. All right, easy peasy. Require interaction with the... Oh, well, this... yeah, I guess it's fine. Portal to be able to leave. Leaf had accidentally walked into it and then immediately left. By the way, playtime so far have been 90 minutes, then 60 minutes. This was my wife. She skipped most of the farming game since she had seen it. And then 80 minutes, and then 50 minutes. And this was Leaf. He accidentally skipped probably like 20 minutes of the loot boxes game. So in general, it looks like the average playtime is going to be about 70, 80 minutes. Yeah. Of these 5 games. I mean, that's not bad. That's 16 minutes per game. And given that some are pretty short, I think this works out well. All right, so that task is done. What's the next task? Make this spike upper hitbox a pixel or 2 lower. Yeah, he was complaining about this. But he said that when the spikes are fully up like this, that being hit on the top of them doesn't really make sense because it's sort of supposed to be in 3D. So like the spike is coming out of the ground. It's not actually literally going like up in the world parallel to the floor. So he said just make this smaller or just lower this, I guess. And full damage shape we also lower. There. Now we are very generous to the player with our spike traps. It's not so crazy anymore. Let's go check that in. We got to not remove the actual sprite frames. So it should just be, no, we keep this. It should just be the size, yep, the position, and I guess this got set to 0, 0. Hey, David. Make spike traps even more generous. I removed, I don't know, like roughly 2 pixels of collision from the top based on what Leaf said. Okay, done with that. And then this part, this is really minor. It's also very easy to do. When in the architect's office from the Dungeon Racer game, hide the line in the UI that says press minus for details. It's a little distracting once there's dialogue. This we can just run on Luna. This would be like 1 line of code. Luna is practically free, which is kind of interesting. Okay, anyway, let's get back to this stuff. So I bought another set of asset packs. I guess we can find them all through here. Monetary cost. The new ones I got, Dungeon Gathering, we've now like almost fully used. That's all of this stuff, I guess. Tiny Swords I have not touched yet. I had an idea for, though. And Tiny RPG Battle Kit I had an idea for as well. And then the card game thing. So we got to design the Tiny Swords game next. I think we've talked about this like a million times. Wait a second. This was July 1st, but I came up with an idea. Maybe I came up with it after that? Because I didn't write it down there. Tower defense then becomes like Smash Bros. Yeah. Tiny Swords again squared. All right, so figure out what to do with the Tiny Swords assets that I bought. I have that on clipboard, right? Yeah. So my idea that I had from a while ago was to use the submerging animation to make a Smash Bros-esque tower defense game. Holy smoly, 20 streams. Thanks for watching for as long as you have. I wonder, so stream streaks are supposed to get people to stay in a channel for longer, right? I wonder if it's having the opposite effect on other channels. You're like, well, I have a stream streak in this stream and this other stream, so I'm not going to keep it in this third stream now. And now you like stop watching that person, whereas you would have originally. You can multitask it. Oh, no, I know you can. I'm just saying, I wonder how many people wouldn't do that because they're like, well, now it feels like a hassle. Now I have to go to that stream or something. I don't know. All right, I downloaded this, I think. Tiny Swords, are you here? Is it Pixel Frog? Yeah, it's Pixel Frog. Tiny Swords. All right, there's enemy pack and free pack. Paste them both here. Open them both up. All right, buildings, particles. So we have the water splash. Yeah, this is what made me want to turn this into Smash Bros. Or like pinball. Would have some pinball-like mechanics too. Although I guess Smash had those. Hey, Twitch Dog. Hit by a bug that doesn't register them as a viewer and resets it. Did that happen to you? I don't really care about the streaks on other channels, but I watch you anyway, so it builds up at the same time. Yeah, yeah. And you get those sweet channel points. As in someone that was diligently showing up every stream for 2 years. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it really doesn't mean anything, but people place meaning in it, so I get that it's still hurtful when that happens. Probably not. Hey, you never know. I saw someone who had a channel point redemption that said something like, I don't know, 5 million points. You now own the stream. And no one could have gotten to 5 million points, but it was a funny idea at least. Hey, oogly booglies. Got the notice that after it ended that my stream broke. It's weird. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's go to Itch Tiny Swords. Yeah, so here's the artwork. And again, what I was thinking is we got to be a little bit careful about this. I don't want every game to be it starts as X but then becomes Y. Some should just be a fun game to begin with. The problem is that it needs to be broken, and yeah, so like maybe we should come up with a game that is broken in a way that doesn't change the mechanics. It's just part of the game. I think that's the issue. Yeah. There have been enough games made now where you don't know what is intentionally broken versus what's not. For example, even in the original Legend of Zelda, you could walk through one of the walls. That was an intentional mechanic in that game. So at the time you'd be like, "Oh, that's new, that's different. I've never seen that." And maybe for years you might not have seen it in another game, but like fake walls exist in other games. Like Super Metroid even has one fake wall in, where is it, Norfair? The false wall. Yeah, granted they had an X-ray scope here, but yeah, this. So here they have highlighted it. It is not highlighted in the game. You can just walk through this. And they do this in, I think, maybe like one or two other places as well. So like if you just started walking through the walls in a game, you might be like, well, that's just the game, right? How do I know this is broken? So we got to communicate that it's broken. But yeah, I want to develop a game like that too, or design a game like that. Design a game that is broken in such a way that, in an obvious way that doesn't change its mechanics so much, or doesn't change its mechanics to a different genre. Like I'm using that trope too much. The Dungeon Racer starts as Zelda and becomes Sonic. The like Tiny Swords game starts as a tower defense and becomes Smash. And that's fine. I just want to keep doing that. I also want to design that Tetris game, design the Tetris game. I think that would be really cool. I got some good ideas for that. In fact, where is that Tetris? Did I put the assets here? I did not. Okay, let me just take a look really fast. There were some, like, if you search on itch for blocks, I think you can find it. Browse. Oh, wait, I could just search for blocks. Game assets. There was some pack I had seen that was pretty decent. I think it was this one. Yeah, I think it was this one. Yeah. Assets, these blocks, $4. Incredible. Yeah, bits where fake OS alerts pop up to say implement me, etc. Jump on the alert box to get out of the level, etc. Yeah. I wanna amp up some of these games a bit. I think the fake OS pop-ups I want to be careful about because people will be playing on all sorts of different platforms. And if you saw like a Windows dialog show up, you might be like, I'm on Mac. Like that's not even the right operating system. So that's the only reason I want to be careful about that. But it could just look like a dialogue that you're on, that you go on to. You know, this is like, you get all sorts of different feedback from people, right? Some of it is just positive, some of it is just negative, some of it is constructive. And I think when you hear enough work items enter your plate, so people give you constructive feedback, you agree with it, and they're like, hey, you got to change level 1, level 2, you got to change the graphics on that, you got to rebalance level 3. And you're like, oh man, that's a lot of work, but it's all going to be for the benefit of the game. It's a little bit daunting at first. And then when I look back, so at the end of Skeleseller, I mean, that's the process we had. And I look back and I'm like, man, I did a lot of work for that game. And I'm in that now. And now I can see that this is what it's going to be like going forward. Like all the feedback I've gotten so far, it's going to make the game better. And yeah, sure, it's a lot of work. But I think it'll be a very cool game when it's done. The game is broken, so thematically it's sound for things to be out. Yeah, I agree with that. I got to be a little bit careful about that. The other thing too is that then it's like kind of locked in time. So every once in a while I watch an old TV show and they start making jokes pop up. And let's say I mean, let's say this game was made 15 years ago and we show it from like Windows Vista, and then you play 15 years later and you're like, oh my God, Vista, remember that? Like, so we just had to make them kind of generic OS pop-ups probably. Hey, Becca. Gonna make the game better, and for that reason, I'm out. You want a worse game? I get it. I hear you. I can produce a worse game. Hope you're doing well. Okay, so where do we leave off? Tiny swords, yeah. So I kind of deviated here, but if we go back to these graphics, so the idea was you would play a tower defense, like a couple of rounds of that. So there are some enemies that, where are the enemies? Yeah, there's some enemies that come by. They got some different attacks. One throws a spear or a javelin at you. These ones use their, what is that? Like a pole arm. And there's some mechanics. I don't know, some skeletons, and they're attacking your towers or they're attacking your characters. They've got some pathfinding and everything. And then at some point, like you manually control one of the characters, I guess. Yeah, I think this comes down to like, how is it broken? Also, do we have an explosion graphic here? I think we do. They have the particle effects somewhere. Where is that? Ah, here, particle effects. There is, yeah, there are a couple of different explosion graphics. How many are there? They have like different sizes. Fire 1, 2, and 3. Okay, because I was thinking, what if we made a sheep blow up? Oh, there's also explosion. I guess fire is different from explosion. They have 2 explosion ones and a couple of dust ones. Okay, hey Pickle. Good morning. So yeah, I like the idea of this. I don't know if we need this to be a tower defense game at all. Am I winning? I'm winning on parts of this. It's always exciting to do the game design stuff. I came up with at least one good idea, which is a platformer where you physically grow until you like can, I don't know, you can see more and more of the world. And I don't know, maybe there are more enemies. Maybe this whole thing was taking place on an enemy. I should probably write that down. Maybe the whole game is taking place on an enemy, but you can't tell until the camera zooms out enough. Is this the new game? So you say the new game. This is all for Stuck in a Broken Tutorial, yeah. But this is a collection of sub games. I've got the FAQ here if you haven't seen it already. All right, so back to, where did that go? Yeah, here. Yeah, does it need to be a tower defense at all? So if it were a tower defense, if it's going to start as tower defense, then you would be placing towers, not controlling a single character. Maybe, oh, you know, here's an interesting idea. Maybe that's how it starts, but then you produce yourself from a tower and you control them. So there's a barracks or something, right? Yeah, like one of these buildings is a barracks. Let's say it's that one or that one. And you're producing these little knights out of them. And the knights are automatically controlled. They go and attack stuff, and the stuff dies, and you know, you got to protect your town and whatever else. But then one of the times it produces you, player, and you know, we would need to make a custom graphic for this. This might be a lot of artwork. Maybe the custom player that it creates is the knight, and up until then, yeah, that probably for the sake of artwork, that's what we do. Sake of artwork, we probably repurpose the knight graphic to be player. That way Quickie Joe doesn't have to draw a million things. I want to be the bald guy, not the knight. The friar. So you only have two different abilities. You have block and you have attack. What I'm concerned about is that's not enough variety for this to be interesting for you. Also, I guess your towers would just stop producing stuff. If you did switch to controlling a player, then are you still controlling the towers? Hey, Kebble Soup. I hope the license has been helping you. I know it's only been whatever 16 hours or something. Still. And if you're not controlling the towers, what's happening here? Because again, I like the idea of this is basically like a pinball board and you are attacking enemies off the edge. Yeah, there are a lot of subtle differences. I have some notes. I don't know if any of this will help you, but I took some notes on Ryder. I'll paste these here, but they might not be helpful. And yeah, I don't think it probably will be too much. But I spent the time making them, so now I'm gonna share them. Yeah, no worries if you don't. Yeah, it's not super important. Yeah, I'm only like half sold on this idea. I like the overview. You know what? Let's riff on it for a little bit instead of me trying to be super critical right now. I shouldn't be so critical right now. Let's just ideate. So I like the idea of this becoming like Smash in that there is no 0 HP. You die mechanic. It's increasing percent. You get launched farther. Starting as a tower defense would suggest that we should have it stay as a tower defense game. Maybe you play as a sheep that can possess any unit you want, at which point you would control their attacks. Okay, so this is the kind of stuff that only happens when I'm not being super critical. So you are a sheep. We color the wool like your hair color and the skin like your skin color, and that's it. We don't have any, there's no clothing on the sheep, so we don't need shirt or boots or what's the other one? Oh, eyes. I guess they don't really, can't even see eyes there, can you? But yeah, so we color them like that, and then you can walk into a unit and just take over and you would control them. And we have different colors for everything, so we could have one of the colors represent that you are controlling them. And when they get knocked off, the sheep pops out of them and you can go and possess another unit. Or you could possess a tower. So at first, there are a couple different ways we could do this. Could possess towers too. We could start you out in the game where you're already possessing a tower. So pressing a button produces a unit. Then you figure out that you can eject from the possession and go possess something else. Oh, hey, is this done? Okay. Like I said, this should be pretty simple, right? Office entered, HUD, hide details. Show details equals false. All right, I need to look at that briefly. This is when you call refresh items. We never need to do this. Yeah, we can just do details.hide. We don't need the show details stuff. So get rid of Get rid of that. Get rid of this. Now there's nothing there. Okay, well, I guess we need hide details. The function. Public void hide details. Done. Okay, that's it. There's our code. Let's go try it. Go to the dungeon racer, get power-ups, go over to here, go to that. Alright, we just gotta run to the end really fast. Doesn't even matter if I get hit. Well, it matters if I get hit like 40 times, but I won't get hit 40 times. There we go. Alright, so you see press minus for details. That's fine, I want to keep that there. But then when you enter the office, it should hide that. It did, but it should hide it, I guess, before you even enter the office. Office entered. Yeah, I want it to be like as soon as you enter the door. Door region, on door body entered. Yeah, office entered, question mark, invoke. So now we got to delete it from wherever it was, which is here. When you enter the door, not when the office actually shows. Let's try one more time. Alternatively, we could do it while it's already faded out. That might be better, because I think right now it's just going to like hide itself immediately. We don't even have, whoops. Oh no, what did I do? What did I do? Well, let's try that again. I didn't realize it put me right here. So there's the press minus for details. When we go in the office, it just hides immediately. Honestly, that's okay. I'd still like to do this one better than that, which is wait, fade to black. Yeah, here. There, done. Now that should be perfect. Okay, upgrade power-ups, go to Architect's Realm. So it says press minus for details. We go in the office. It just never shows up again. Yeah, perfect. So now you can still see the icons behind it, and maybe that'll eventually be changed. Who knows? But yeah, it's nice to not have that there. Okie dokie. Let's go check that in. Sounds good. And sounds good. Cool. All right, hide press minus for details text in office. Done, zo. And what are we down to now? What, 66% still, yeah. But now I don't have any other easy tasks that I want to give it. All right, so the possession of towers and stuff, it's okay. Yeah, the idea of controlling a single, I guess that's the main question I have is like, are you controlling a single unit? I feel like if you aren't, then you don't get to experience the smash mechanics. Maybe you're the enemies. Yeah, it's a tower offense game. The enemies have a lot of different attack styles, I guess. Although most of them probably boil down to there's some kind of melee attack. Right, this one kind of looks like a melee attack. This one's a ranged attack. This is range, this is range. But yeah, melee, 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 melee. Yeah, like half of them are melee. Which, again, makes sense for a tower defense game. They could all just have different mechanics for how they get bounced around, though. Okay, I like this idea better. I definitely like this idea better. Where did that go? This is how we would have to do it. Yeah, enemies would differentiate based on attacks, weight, like percent before they die, etc. There would be swarms of player, knights, archers, monks. What are the other ones we have? I think that's pretty much it. I don't know, maybe we call them like, yeah, lancers, fine. You would have to figure out how to approach each pack. There probably wouldn't be resource management. Maybe there could be. I don't know. That might be a step too far. And yeah, how are you getting these enemies? So let's just come up with some questions for post break. So how are you choosing which enemy to control? How do you win? What happens if you get knocked off the edge as an enemy? What happens if this occurs too many times? Like, do you lose? Can you lose? How do you win? Are there stages? How does the, I'll just put this in quotes, how does the protagonist play the game? Or like, yeah. And I'm winning today. Hey, that's the second time that question's been asked. And as proof, look, here's the first time. Are you winning? I think Corpsey. Yeah, I think things are going pretty well so far. We're just doing game design and some like very light coding tasks. And the game design is seeming to be pretty fruitful so far. So at some point, we got to answer the question of what does checkpoint 3 look like? Figure out what checkpoint 3 looks like. And maybe design the card game, the joke game. And figure out if I can make another short game. Maybe one where you play as the hue slider from the customization screen. We did pretty well for 10,000. Got place 150 in enjoyment. Wow, awesome. Yeah. It's top 1%. That's really good. Yeah, feel free to link your game if you want to. Or on Discord, either one. Okay, so yeah, we got to answer these questions. I'm going to take a quick break, though, and we'll answer these when we get back. But so far, this has been a pretty fun day. I hope you're all enjoying it. Is it jump time? I need this thing to answer me faster. It got the words. It didn't transition, though. That's strange. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Hello, hello. Hey, ABC. Hey, Strawn. Close the game. All right, so let me write down Campbell Soup's link. I meant to copy the whole message. ABC. I don't think Corpsey's in on the joke. All right, so yeah, we had some questions that I have not answered here yet. So how are you choosing which enemy to control? I like the idea of you having this roster here and then having to decide which one would work best. Problem is, this is a pretty large roster for you to like understand and know how to use. Maybe they're different, like they're different costs. You do have to manage resources somehow. I guess the other thing too is like, how difficult is this game? How difficult is this game? So yeah, maybe to choose an enemy, you're like hiring them for a price. So you have to manage your resources. But could you reasonably have maybe each team has resource management and can use these enemies? I think it's better if it's better if it's like player versus monster or humans versus monsters. The humans versus monsters. What's the word I'm looking for here? Like style, I guess. Everyone having access to everything. However, if we are going to have resource collection, only the humans have resource collection because this is a human character and they've got cutting down trees and getting gold and I guess building as well. So it's possible that you can, it's just possible that we have both of these. Do we have different colors for the enemies? Enemy pack, enemies, null. No, we don't. It's just the one color. So you wouldn't be able to tell yours apart from the enemies. But for the players, there are different colors. Yeah. Black, blue, purple, red, yellow. And buildings, same thing. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's another thing we have to consider too. We only have colors for the humans and the buildings. So if we do allow enemies on both sides, or like monsters on both sides, then we probably need them to be unique. Wouldn't be easy to remember. I mean, it'd just be a display name change. Oh, never mind, actually. Well, is that a capital? Oh, that looks like a 0. But the joke here is there's Magnus in chat. Magnus has 5 O's in his name. And 5 O's is enough in binary to represent any day of the month. So he's been changing his name every day. So like today's the 5th, so he'll be Magna O-O-O-S, like this today. So 4 plus 1. And that's how you know it's August 5th. And you're allowed to change your display name whenever, or the stylization of your name whenever you want. You can only change your name once every like 60 days or something. So let's say you are collecting resources and stuff. This would imply that they can encroach on your territory. Yeah, so maybe it's island versus island. You have your own town. There could be fog of war. Do we have any like... It's just this is terrain, right? Yeah. And there's some clouds. I mean, we could maybe do something with that to be like fake fog of war. You could change your name to be like that? Yes. Exactly. And there's nothing different to remember because it's just different stylization, different capitalization. What are those? What are those floating in the water here? Oh, ducks. I couldn't tell when it was zoomed out. I didn't know there were ducks in here. Where are those in the terrain? Decorations? Rubber duck. Yeah. How cute. All right, so island versus island. So you have your own island. I guess there are resources on this island. You'd need to be able to like send your units to go get the resources, I guess. So yeah, this is where I'm still torn. If you're doing any macro management, then this is really more like an RTS. I mean, tower defenses are kind of like RTS. Hey, Faceless Voice. They're very nice animations. Yeah. This pack looks really good. And I already purchased it. I don't think it'll be super fun to swap between the two on a controller, though. Let me think a little bit more about this. So you've got some buildings, you've got some units. The units would presumably have commands. I mean, maybe those are just automated. Like at any given point, you're choosing. Like here's what I can envision. Maybe you are either in control mode or selection mode. When selecting, you move a cursor around and choose what to control. When in control mode, you can build a unit, construct a building, or issue an order if needed. I don't know if that really adds to the game though. But if you're not building up your town, I'm not sure. I still want this to be about like you get a bunch of different units and you attack. And it's got like Smash Bros. Like mechanics. But there's another potential problem here, which is if you do have a ranged character, like part of what makes Smash fun is you have a bunch of different attacks and different like defensive things. All of these just have movement and one attack animation. These characters just have movement and one attack animation. So controlling them with Smash mechanics probably wouldn't be very fun. Plus, ranged attacks may be like stupidly powerful. They'd have to leave you weak for some time. But I don't think it would be super fun. So then it's like, well, the way you would overcome this is by having the player control a ton of units at once somehow. So at that point, they're just commanders for their army. So it's more like an RTS with Smash mechanics. I don't think this will end up being fun this way. Yeah. I think this would probably be too complex and or confusing. I was thinking that balancing it would be a huge pain. You could probably just get a ton of one unit and win. We need strategy to play out somehow. God, it was this as inspiration for everything, though, that I'm talking about here. You have this graphic where there's a character just kind of splashing into the water and then fading out. And I thought, oh man, this all takes place on an island. So you're surrounded by water and you could knock a character off in any direction and you could cause that splash animation. And that would be great for any of the sort of deaths that we have here. And then turn it into Smash Bros, right? Or like pinball or something. It just doesn't fit into a greater game. Like the artwork is so heavily set up for RTS or tower defense. I think a controller-based RTS is really hard to do anyway. But also, given that it's a mini game in another game, it's not like you're going to be playing this for 10 hours or something. You're going to be playing this for like 30 minutes. Could maybe be a tactics game too. Yeah, it could be. I think a tactics game to me, I guess it's like an RTS that you're just kind of freeze framing. But all the tactic games I've played, at least, are each unit has a bunch of different actions that they can perform, and you don't control so many different units. But I guess Advance Wars was also kind of a tactics game, right? Advance Wars. I don't remember the mechanics of this all that well. Units, maybe? Couldn't they just like get into a fight and they had some... I gotta look at how this works. Anti-air, move, ammo, fuel. I don't remember the fuel mechanic. So it was like a rock, paper, scissors battle, I guess. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. I'm a little torn. I have spent so many times trying to come up with a game for this. And it's like perfectly set up for a game. RTS, tower, defense, maybe a tactics game. I wanted Smash mechanics somehow, but I don't think it would be all that fun. Well, what if it was just tower defense with Smash mechanics? What if you are doing all the stuff you normally do in a tower defense game? So yeah, you're just putting down units. You're not directly controlling any of them. Your units go out and fight, and they just like bounce each other all around the map. If you're not controlling them, though, it's just a slightly different way of rendering battles. Yeah. Okay, maybe we come back to this for the 7th time. If you don't... Yeah, I think it kind of boils down to this. If you directly control the units, then you don't have that much in your arsenal to make it fun, like Smash. If you don't directly control the units, then a, like... What was the mechanic? Then the Smash mechanics are just a different way of rendering battles. Rather than seeing health bars deplete, you're seeing monsters fly all over the place. It's kind of zany and maybe funny from that perspective. Maybe it's about manipulating the terrain more than the battles themselves. Like you place a pinball tower somewhere and it helps bounce enemies off the map. I don't know. I think we got to come back to this. Yeah, I think we got to come back to this. I don't need great ideas yet. Okay, let's go back then to the Tetris game. I had an idea for this. Where was that idea? Yeah, here we go. Tetris Miner. You're in a Tetris-like game, dropping and rotating blocks, but the line's never actually clear. You fill up the board, and then it changes into a different thing completely. Oh, this scrolls down. Yeah, I mean, there are some different blocks. That's all we really need, right? And here they're supposed to be like different biomes. I mean, these are pretty nice graphics. I do like these. Hey, man, Kumar. How do I manage the docs file? What do you mean? Like, I have a bunch of different tabs and then a bunch of different headers within those tabs. So I just try to keep things organized. My to-do list is actually public. If you want, you can take a look at how I do this for my to-do list. All right, so this idea of you are placing blocks. They look kind of like Tetris pieces. We got to be very careful to avoid any legality issues. But I don't think that'd be very hard because we don't need Tetris mechanics. But you're placing blocks down. It kind of looks like Tetris, but the lines don't clear themselves. And then you just fill up the whole board and it changes to like now you have to drill through these blocks or something. Maybe you're making platforms for yourself. What are those in the background exactly? It's one of these. I think it might be that. I can't totally tell. I think it is. Yeah. I like that background layer though. That's kind of cool. Because what I was thinking is Galactic Mining Corp. Windy had made a game where you were just drilling through planets. And where's a good example of the gameplay here? Yeah, you're drilling through planets. And I was thinking like you build up this board. How you build it up though is probably not super important. Yeah, so Tetris Miner. Let's go write this stuff down. Did I already talk about this at some point? Okay, no, I did not really talk about this too much. Thinking of using these block assets. The overview is that you would place blocks thinking that it's Tetris, but you fill up the grid since lines never clear themselves. End up filling up the grid. You need to then drill out all of the blocks. Just thinking of having you control a drill. But maybe having you control a character makes more sense. Could be a mini platformer. But like, what's the fun in this game? So if we put this here. Because we have different block types. You can kind of see, it looks sort of like there are different minerals or something in here. And then these look like they've got elements on them. Yeah, so you could, or maybe you're getting this for the sake of a sandbox kind of game. Maybe you're getting these blocks for a sandbox kind of game. like Terraria or Minecraft. That is interesting. I mean, if you are doing that, you would only need to place them in a line. Maybe it becomes some kind of like world builder game, like what is that? Conway's Game of Life. Yeah. Maybe it's a world builder, like Conway's Game of Life. If you put two dirt blocks next to each other, they'll turn to grass. Grass will grow into a tree. A tree will drop wood. Wood can craft a house, etc. I don't know. Just making stuff up. I want to be careful about how we do that exactly, though. Because one of the problems we might have is like, however, you're getting these blocks in the first place to place as though it's Tetris could just be directly used to build a world. And maybe there should be some fun in placing the blocks. Like you do try to line up connected blocks. Maybe, yeah, maybe you try to line up connected or identical blocks so that destroying them becomes easier. Or like maybe it turns into Bomberman. You have to bomb out the blocks after placing them. So how you place them matters. That would be kind of interesting. Like you can jump or place a bomb. You can jump, walk, or place a bomb. Bombs blow up the entire row and column, like in Bomberman. But if they hit a wall, they only destroy that wall. You need to bomb your way to the bottom. I guess you could always yeah, I guess this wouldn't be that difficult though. I just laid out the mechanics. Maybe you could put it into a random part. Well, once you realize how this works, you would just put down a line of blocks just straight vertical and then you'd trivialize the game. I think it should be about I think the goal, like Tetris, should be to densely pack the blocks, since we can then reward that somehow. Otherwise, people will just slam down blocks however they want without any reason to do differently. Out of curiosity, what else has this person done? Gray Box 2D. Is this just for prototyping a game, basically? I'm not totally sure why that pack exists. Oh, what about these other ones though? Hey, Explosive James. Yeah, long time no see. I'm doing well. I've been working on a new game called Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. What has been up with you? Let's see. Last time you were here was June of last year. So yeah, in the last 14 months, what's been going on? New world. Are you just placing stuff in this world? Is there WSD controls or something? What are you? Is there like an actual game behind this? I'm a little confused about this demo. There was also something at the bottom, sandbox. I don't get it. It looks like you should be able to move this. Like there's a not fully visible button here. Like I can't figure out how you do that. I think it's just to show off the assets, which is fine. But then like I don't know why there are these two different modes either. Yeah, it's strange. But this is pretty interesting. Man, there are a lot of cool assets on itch. Oh, I can't select this anymore. Yeah, it's not letting me pick a different thing. Yeah. Oh, that works now. Interesting. Working on some side projects. How to learn JavaScript for one of them. Ooh, nice. Yeah. What's your favorite side project you're working on now? Because I've been using AI more and more, and I wouldn't say I have side projects, but I have like tools that I need for either streaming or development, and those have been so much easier to create thanks to pretty much just telling AI how to do it and not doing it myself. What are these other ones that we have? Ceramic Dungeon. Oh, I see. Okay, so you're just moving a square around, and they show off all sorts of different tiles here. What was down here? Nothing. Unless I'm supposed to get this. Oh, yeah, you can press space. So I probably press space on this thing to lower it. Yeah, okay. There's probably some way down here. I don't see another key though. Hmm. Yeah. Okay, well anyway. Bomb update. There's an explosion. Where's the bomb? Is it in here? I don't, hang on one second. Okay, sorry about that. All right, well, let's go back to this for a little bit. So densely pack the blocks so we can reward that somehow. Otherwise players just slam blocks down. So we're essentially designing a game now that uses a densely packed board of blocks. So drilling them, bombing them, like digging through them. What if you were trying to recreate a level or a picture? Like, yeah, and you have to do so using like Tetris rules. Studying app, you can create questions, etc. Since I'm learning Japanese. Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's really good. Yeah, I have heard of other people writing their own language learning tools, and it kind of makes me wonder, like, excuse me, do these things exist but they're paid? Do they exist but people can't find them? Do they not exist? Because I had a friend who was learning Chinese at one point, and he made his own like flashcard app. And then actually another friend who was learning Chinese who was, I don't know what exactly he did. I think he was trying to make his own like Duolingo almost. But I think it's a fun way to fuel a hobby, is to like add some development onto it. I imagine some games lend themselves pretty well to that. Like Dungeons and Dragons probably does. You can make like map builders or character sheets or a whole bunch of different things. Yeah, so how does this feel broken? I think that the player would expect it to work like Tetris. But that's kind of a minor way of breaking. Also depends on what we're having you place as blocks. Yeah, we just pick a plain block like this stone one, and we connect a bunch of them. Again, we could turn this into an incremental, like you're just getting stone blocks at first. Could turn this into an incremental. You get stone blocks at first, but then you can afford to get the more valuable ones. I can gamify it in a way that keeps me engaged. So I plan to have a daily streak system, scoring performance, generate a quiz for questions you frequently get wrong. Yeah, I think it's really good. And I mean, you can track your learning throughout all of that too, and figure out like, have I learned the material? I think it's nice. I've always been interested in learning other languages, but there are kind of two problems I have. One is it takes a while, and two is if I don't have someone to talk to in that language, then I just end up not using it. So I end up forgetting everything I learned. Because I've spent a long time studying French, for example. I would not say I speak French right now, nor could I probably like understand even like regular speaking rate of French anymore. And yeah, it's a shame. It's like if I kept it for good, I'd probably want to learn like every language, because I think that'd be super cool. Yeah, this one doesn't resonate with me yet. Or maybe we need some kind of character here. Oh, I never looked at this one, did I? I don't think so. Oh my god, okay, you cannot double jump when you fall off an edge. How do you activate a switch? Oh, enter. Now what? I guess we go up this way. This is really difficult on this keyboard. I'm not used to jumping with my pinky finger. Could I do this? Oh, I can do this. But no, this doesn't work. All right, well, whatever. What else did I have written down for this? In a Tetris-like game, dropping and rotating blocks. The lines are actually clear. Instead, after filling out the board, tutorial says, something's wrong. You drill your way through the blocks from top to bottom. It could just be a single joke as well. This could be simplified even more so that it's just a single joke. Like the board fills up, you drill your way to the bottom, you drill right out of the UI or something. Yeah, you do need to stay active. And I think if you know people in real life who can help you, that's probably the easiest. I think having a virtual community is good. But yeah, at some point, if you lose touch with all the people who speak the language, it's like you probably lose your reason to speak the language too. Drill right out of the UI. I would want this to be a game you're still playing. I guess this comes down to a question of, is it difficult? Where would the difficulty come from? I guess it's like playing Tetris, the same difficulty of Tetris, right? You're placing a densely packed board. With Tetris, the pieces move faster and faster. And you have less time to react. But the benefit of Tetris actually clearing lines is that you gain that much more of the screen, which is basically like gaining time. When you're playing in the top like 3 lines, it's really difficult for a lot of people. But in this game, you would not be able to clear them. Okay, what about this? What if you got like one pass with the drill or with some kind of like physics-based bombing or like Plinko mechanic after filling up the board? Then you got to fill it, then you get to fill it again. The goal is to place as many blocks as possible and destroy as many blocks as possible. Okay, this is starting to feel more like a game. Yeah. Finally. Because I was like, oh God, is this a waste of time? Am I going nowhere? And maybe I still am going nowhere. I don't know. But this feels a little bit better. So I'm just going to kind of sum up what we talked about a little bit. So like you get, you're not supposed to say tetrominos, I think. But you get Tetris-like blocks that you can rotate and place. It behooves you to fill the board as much as possible because you want to destroy the blocks. Destroying the blocks takes skill. So yeah, and then you swap between creation and destruction until you hit some milestone. And the idea of upgrading and getting different blocks and stuff, I think it's kind of cool. Yeah. Hey, Matt. We're doing some game design here, trying to figure out where we're going with this stuff. We could tie this into yet another thing. We could tie this into crafting items or something. Like you get the blocks go into some machine, which makes oh my God. All right. If we're really going to go this far, there was some factory graphic on itch. I don't think it has what we need, but if I just search for like factory and look at game assets, yeah, this thing. It's on sale. Wow. There's a bundle too. The bundle doesn't make sense though. They're not really combined. They're not assets that work with one another, right? What is this? We have a robot that can move. And that's it? Is there any like... No, that's pretty much it. So yeah, what if you put the blocks onto a factory? Maybe that's what you're doing as you're building up a factory? I don't think the like the visual language of this is clear enough to explain kind of what's going on. How the latest playtest go? It went well. I think the bulk of the feedback was to play everything up a little bit more. So when a game is broken, it's like really broken. And when there's a tutorial, it's like you start interacting with the tutorial itself to some extent. So as an example, when you fall on the platformer, instead of it's just untextured and it's gray and it's dark, there's like you're seeing the source code of the game while you're falling. Like that way it's like, oh, okay, this is not what's expected. So yeah, and I got to think of more ways to do that. There are some low-hanging fruit that I addressed. You have a legally not a Tetris block that is also a bomb, and you can place them in the board, and every so often you get another block that can set off a bomb, and bombs trigger other bombs. So you have to plan where to place bombs. Yeah, but at some point you're going to fill the board, and we got to think of how you're supposed to clear it. So I think I want there to be a distinct phase where you're just in charge of clearing it. Yeah, unfortunately, there is not a lot of like factory assets or like conveyor belt sorts of things. What is this? No, a lot of them are like factory levels for other games. Here's something that's maybe a little bit close, but this doesn't, I don't really like this artwork very much. And this is another kind of similar one. Like what I'm picturing here is you get these blocks and then you put them on into your factory, and they come over here, and this pulls it off onto another line, this pulls it off onto another line, and you're like refining them somehow. But yeah, there's just not very much here in terms of. Out of curiosity, what if you search for like conveyor belt? This is a very specific search. There are conveyor belt packs. Okay. Conveyor kit. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, anyway, the crafting items thing. What was that? Solaria? Yeah, this stuff. There's a blacksmith pack in here. Where's that? Here. And this in particular made me think, we could have something that's you're crafting a bunch of items. I think they also have an item pack in this bundle. Let me see if I can find that really fast. Yeah, icon collection. This probably includes items, right? Yeah, it does. Yeah, so you got a bunch of different like helms and probably boots and shields and armors and whatever. I mean, it looks like a lot, but a lot of these are just palette swaps. Like they have, 16 different feathers or something and 16 different hats. Okay, well, let's spend some more time thinking about this. So how about this? How do you destroy the blocks in such a way that takes some skill? I kind of like in Terraria how you drop bombs down a mine shaft and they can bounce and blow up and you have to aim them correctly. There could be different means of destruction. Bombs, like arrows, drills, etc. Maybe even little NPCs that will carve out their own paths. Maybe you're limited in how much time you have to do this. It would have to be fun placing the blocks. And there has to be some limited resource. Limited resource there too. This is feeling more and more incremental. Like you could expand the walls of the creation space, get bigger blocks to place down, get blocks that create more blocks or workers that will create them. Maybe this all leads to building up a large enough world for you to be dropped in. I don't know. Like I said, I don't want every game to just turn into an incremental game. Yeah, the way of destroying blocks, though, was kind of interesting. I didn't buy any other asset packs that I haven't come up with ideas for, right? Downloads, assets, what's in here? Cards. Yeah, the cards I still have to think about. This is all the Dagon stuff. We talked about that already. Farm RPG we're using. That we're using. That I don't think we're using. This was supposed to be for the museum game, which I just never ended up making. Whoa, that's a lot of stuff. Wow. Yeah, well, I never used this, but that's not really for this particular one. Pixel Frog, yeah, Tiny Swords, platformer character we already used. Snow Hex with all the dungeon gathering stuff. The dungeon was for the top-down shooter. This was for it too. What is this one? This I haven't used yet, but I have an idea for it at least. And then top-down monsters we did use. Yeah. Yeah, so I think this would be an interesting game the way I've talked about it. I just don't know if it's different enough from the other ones that we've talked about. I do like the idea of you building up a world somehow. Like you're getting resources out of destroying these blocks. Out of curiosity, if you search for drill, what shows up here in game assets? Top-down driller assets. It's like practically exactly what I want. No, it's not actually what I want. I was picturing something else. Yeah, no, I was picturing something else. No, there's not really a whole lot. Free drill player. What's this? What? This is supposed to be like a cartoonish grill, I guess, or drill, excuse me. Yeah, I guess so. And wasn't there one other one? This one? I guess making just a drill wouldn't be that hard to do. Hmm. I wonder how you would control this too. Maybe the destruction section is done sort of like Tetris as well. You have a queue of weapons and have to pick how best to use them. So like a bomb will drop and then take time to explode. A drill will destroy a whole column. Yeah, maybe there's something that destroys rows. This is set up to practically have to be an incremental game. And thanks, Explosive James. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't done anything 3D yet in this game. I came very close to buying an asset pack and then realized like I should probably mess around with the free stuff first and see how I feel. Weapons have to pick up best to use them. A bomb will drop and then take some time to explode. A drill will destroy a whole column. Yeah. It just definitely feels incremental. There's no inherent problem with that. And we have enough of these sorts of games. I think it would be kind of interesting to do, though. I also think it'd be cool to just have, like, yeah, tons and tons of blocks, like ideas in the incremental vein. You get blocks that are connected by sand, so they fall to fill the board more densely. Yeah, you get larger and larger blocks. Maybe more can be connected at once. Although, would that even really help you? Not sure this would even help you. I think the goal would be to stop the player from just slamming pieces down. Maybe we make it just a quicker incremental. Also, maybe we give you bombs from the Dungeon Racer game. I think we have a bomb graphic somewhere else too. I don't know where though. I mean, maybe the Farm RPG has one. Interior, pets, UI, enemy, character, PNG, shovel, sword attack, damage, death, archer. I don't see anything with a bomb in it, but I guess this was a stupid way of searching. I should just type in bomb. Bag bomb. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Traps fantasy pack. Where's that? Oh, this is in the Dagon stuff. Is one of these a bomb? It is. Oh, that could be kind of neat. Hey, Smart. Enough of these sorts of games. I find they sell so easily on Steam with positive rating for incremental games. Yeah, I don't want to take the easy path, that's all. The thing is, for a lot of games, it makes sense that for you to interact with the game for a bit, you are learning the rules and you're kind of building up. You feel like there's a sense of progression. I will copy this. There's a bomb in the Dagon pack that could work. All right. Is it worth prototyping this? Like, probably. Yeah. You place some blocks down. It then switches into like, well, now what do we do? You know, you fill out the board, you hit the top, and that's when you switch to destruction mode. And you start laying bombs, and yeah, maybe there are drills and stuff. We should probably think of some other ideas that we could do here. Maybe drills could be targeted and move in a line, like maybe that's how you rotate them. A drill can be rotated and will destroy in a line that you shoot it in. Maybe it can be upgraded to bounce off walls. So bombs, drills, what else could we do? I like the idea of putting down some kind of any, I guess it could be like saws or something, right? Well, it had to be a proper whole circular thing, right? Buzz saws. You're a Texas kind of guy. Best first search. What else do we do for destruction? So if we just look at Tetris, imagine you've got, there's no like already filled up board. Let's just look at this one. Oh, that's a good video. Hey, Bilbo, the dev, welcome in. Thanks for the raid. Hello, everybody. We are doing some game design today. What were you working on? How'd the stream go? How's everybody doing? I wanted to look at a filled Tetris board, but it's surprisingly hard to search for. I mean, this is pretty good. Yeah, this is pretty good. So yeah, imagine that there's no piece on the top here. This is just like filled up. And now you go into destruction mode and you can put bombs down and like carve your way out through here. Maybe they bounce off the blocks or something. And I was thinking you shoot drills down and they could bounce off too. And maybe there's some sort of like a gravity blast where any floating blocks would then fall. Or maybe they fall and they can't fall automatically. Oh, that had to be like a special move or something. Maybe there's a gravity blast that makes all of the loose blocks fall. It would have to be rare since it would obviate the need to place blocks well in the first go. Hello, hello. Yeah, I don't know if you heard, but what are you working on? And welcome in. I can take a look at your stream, I suppose. Let me see. Software and game dev. Coding something. What is the something? Yeah, I don't see quickly at least. But yeah, for everyone new here, I'm working on a game called Stuck in a Broken Tutorial, which I apparently have running somewhere. I don't actually see it. Let's just restart this. What about Breakout? You break blocks and you have a ball that bounces around. It has power-ups. Yeah, that's another route we could take this in. In fact, I could have sworn I wrote this down somewhere. Let me see. Yeah, the Tetris game could be every block game. You fill the board once, it becomes Breakout. You fill it again, expecting Breakout, but it's Dig Dug. You fill it again, it turns into Bomberman. Yeah, you fill it again, and you have to shoot drills down to destroy everything. Okay. Yeah, what was I going to show? I was going to show my game. So yeah, I'm working on Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. You are going through a bunch of different games, and they're all in some form of tutorial here. And you get to a section in the game, which I will just teleport to, where eventually the game is obviously broken. And you move from game to game in that way. So here you just fall through the world. You eventually make it to the next game, which is a farming game. And yeah, like I said, you go from game to game doing this stuff. Being a D&D game type thing. Oh, cool. Like a turn-based battle / you can, you know, lay out your own adventure. We are trying to design games for this. And yeah, I've got some ideas here. All right, where is this? Tetris Miner. Here we go. Yeah, so I did have an idea where this could be every block game. Could have rounds with rules like match 3 or whatever, then have you destroy the blocks in different ways. You have like a pixel art procedural labyrinth. Oh, nice. Okay, yeah. Are you thinking of making it like an action RPG? Like you're moving and attacking just as enemies are around you? All right. I mean, I kind of like this idea about the destruction stuff. I would want there to be maybe a little bit more in terms of destruction. Yeah, that's why I had loaded this up to figure out like how would you want to destroy this board. So yeah, what I'm picturing is you drop a bomb down and it blows up like, whoops, that's not what I meant to do. It blows up like this area or something, and you drop a drill down and it blows up like a line like that. So now you've carved out this is just blank space now. Maybe bombs always drop until they hit a block or they stop moving to some point, and then that lets you blow things up. There'd probably need to be something that attacks sort of upward. I guess you're not really picking these things. It might be simpler if you're just shooting drills down and nothing else. Yeah. I think that might be worthwhile to do. It may be simpler if you're only shooting drills down and just need to pick the position and rotation. Yeah, you get score based on how many blocks you destroyed. Then you spend or you get like money, I guess. Then you spend the money on upgrades. Yeah, it could work. Maybe drills even have like a power. Maybe drills even have drilling power and may fizzle out after destroying enough blocks. What if you're breaking the blocks on one side and the blocks are spawning in on the other side, so you have to destroy them quickly? Well, I wanted to subvert the expectation of, like, it should feel like Tetris, because this whole thing should be that you're stuck in a broken tutorial and the broken part needs to come through somehow. And the different games we have now, they sometimes play on it by, purporting to be one game and then they turn into another. So I'll give you an example here. We have this game. This looks like Zelda. So like, you can break bases, you get these coins. There are enemies you can destroy. You go down the steps. There are, you know, small puzzles at first. And then eventually you get to this room. You go collect bombs from that chest up there. And you think, okay, I'm going to destroy this wall and get to the staircase, right? But you don't just destroy the wall, you destroy the entire dungeon. So like, this is already not expected. And you fall down. And it's like, well, now you're in a different segment completely. And this is like an Endless Runner style game. So we've got to break expectations somehow with pretty much all of these games. And that's why I wanted this to start as something like Tetris. If just blocks were getting created, it would just seem like, okay, that's the game. Nothing was really broken. Yeah. There was an idea that I had there that I got to write down. We should make room for a bit shorter from the left side so that you can definitely see the stairs. There should also be coins on that side of the room. Okay, I'm going to take another quick break and then we'll come back and keep doing some design work on this. This is also another nice change I think we should do. So, is it jump time? It's jump time. Hello, hello. Hey, Zoe. Hey, Fallen Great. Welcome in. All right, close the game. So close. Hello, hello. Okay. So yeah, this idea of drills destroying it. I think we need to prototype this. And I think in prototyping it, we'll come up with some more stuff. We don't have a drill graphic. This will kind of work, maybe. It's an okay placeholder. I wonder if there is, if I just search for a drill in here somewhere. Downloads, assets. I don't expect there to be anything. No, yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be a drill specifically. Like, let's say we had a mole or something like that. We could use a mole that like tunnels downward. Let's see. Yeah, there's a bomb in this. We could use this for the drill. For a drill placeholder, we probably want a better one eventually. Okay, so the idea, yeah, I think we have enough to prototype and figure out how this would feel. I do want to plan just a tiny bit more with this. So you fill the board. You then aim drills downward. You get money based on how much stuff you got. Maybe the money gets spent automatically on upgrades. So like you start getting gold blocks or no, I don't think that's a good idea. I think you'd have to spend it. We make a pet system. There will probably be a Pokemon style game. Yeah. You start the level with the entire board packed full of random blocks, then have the player spawn pieces to make matches, carve out a path, and escape. Well, I was thinking you will build up the board and then you'll drill through it and then build it up again and drill through it again. So it's like your way of getting resources. And then you use those resources for something. In fact, maybe I don't like the idea of you getting money. I guess you'd have to get, yeah, resources. You get resources based on how much, based on how well you did. So like 47 blocks destroyed times 1.5x like destruction bonus plus whatever x, and you got 200 rock. You spend the resources on upgrades. Yeah, so some questions. Is it fun? Do the blocks persist between waves? Do the blocks persist after the destruction wave? Do drills have a limited amount of drilling power before fading out? Maybe drills can eventually place bombs for you as they drill so that they carve out even more. How big is the scope of this game? It's probably going to take a couple years to finish. So yeah, by the end of it, it'll probably be somewhere in the like 3 to 6 hour range. Which is why we need to keep designing more of these sub games for it. All right, so we'll copy this over into the document here. Prototype. I think we have enough to prototype this game. I wrote a bunch of ideas here. If we were to go the breakout route, how would that feel? So like you destroy, or you place a bunch of blocks down in a Tetris mode, and then you get a paddle up here and you start hitting a ball against it, and it starts deleting some of the blocks. problem with this is that Breakout normally starts, like, let's just look at Arkanoid or something. Breakout normally starts with the blocks far enough away from you that you have a lot of time to react. So like the ball goes over here, it bounces, you can see this happening. If you spawn like right next to where the blocks are, you'll probably lose pretty quickly. Maybe that's part of the strategy. Like you don't want to fill up the entire thing. I don't know. The other thing about Breakout too is like sometimes you get in this phase where it's just really slow. I don't know. We'll need to prototype it. Yeah. Are you going mostly retro pixel games? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Hey, Casey. Alex learns live. I'm offended. Casey, offended. All right, so this make room for a bit shorter. Let's go do this really fast. There's nothing in here, is there? No, yeah, I'm done with that. All right, room 4. So yeah, I want to do a couple things to make this more enticing. I want the staircase to be closer. Maybe we just put it in the middle of the room. I don't know why I put it at the bottom. Yeah, I don't know why I had done that. And then the wall we can also retract. So maybe we put it here, delete all of that, delete the floor. And then I want there to be a bunch of coins in here. Do we put them in any particular place? No, we just put them somewhere. Coin. I want the yellow coins. These should really entice you. And maybe some blue coins over here. This is too many. And it's not that I dislike this. I just don't, it's not as aesthetic as it could be. Like that's probably a little bit better. Yeah, let's do that. Plan to do everything retro game or only ones you enjoyed as a child? Any ideas that I have pretty much. Yeah, I'll just put into here. Yeah, if only my name started with an L, it'd be perfect. All right, let's take a look. Yeah, so, well, this isn't totally how this should work, right? We'd go like this. I'm gonna just run through here. I don't care about being hit. I'm just trying to make it too. That didn't work. There we go. All right, so you spawn here. So you can see those coins over on the left side. Yeah, I think this works a little bit better. It signals to you that you should be able to get over there. And I'll delete the blue coins. I don't think those are needed. Okay, so improve room 4 a bit. I put the staircase closer. Actually, you know what? Delete that too. And added some coins beyond the wall. There we go. Okay. Are the UI sound effects new? No, those have been there. Might not care about 3. Oh, those are worth 10 each. So that is actually exactly 20 coins. Although you wouldn't know that at that point. But you would have seen red coins are worth 5. Green are worth 1. I don't think you would have seen blue coins at this point. So you'd at least know that it's not worth 1. It must be worth more than 1. But I guess you wouldn't know, is it more valuable or not more valuable than red? Oh, what happened here? Frame progress. I don't care about that. Or you have a chest. Well, there's already a chest on the right side of the room. So I don't want to add another one. Okay, design the card game that is a joke. So this one doesn't really need a lot of design, I think. We have all the card stuff in here. Maybe I should just start expanding these like this, yeah. Poker cards. All right, there we go. Delete all of that. All right, card package. So this is the packs of cards. Where are the actual cards? These are unrelated. I think these are just, yeah, chests and stuff. And we have, what else is there? Coins? I don't think we have much of a need for these. Maybe we'll put them in some game. And sparks. Yeah, I don't think we need that stuff. Chroma, V4. This is for a colorful card pack, I guess. This is opening them. Here are poker cards. So, yeah, and then here are the attack cards and stuff. Okay, hold on. Maybe this is the one we do in 3D. Yeah, where, oh, who is that? Who made that artwork? I don't know. Let's just search for it. If I search for, what would it even be? X3D? I should find it pretty quickly. This did not help. Or I passed it. I forgot their name. That's the problem. I forgot what the pack was called. Oh man. What do I search for? Chess. I think they had a chess asset. Oh my god, why is it this hard to find? All right, I don't know why it's that hard to find. Aha, here it is. Okay, yeah, and they have cards here too. Okay, this is what I think we need to do then. Yeah, we make a 3D game here, make some show of this somehow. Was a playtest closed? I only see skeletal references in the commands when I search for playtest. Yeah, it was closed. I should probably clean up some of those. What is this document? Oh, this is for people playing on their own. All right, I'll just delete this for now. Telecom playtest. Any others? No, that's it. Okay, good. Yeah. So what we could do is we could make, well, you know what? The way I kind of wanted this to work was that it would be like a fantasy card game. Oh yeah, playtester is already gone. Yeah. It automatically got deleted. All right, so let's write this over here somewhere. Card game joke. So I had this idea a long time ago that you would enter a card game, a literal card game. You get one single card. You play it, you win. The game says something like, I bet you're used to cards games. The joke probably only works in English. I still want to do this. So yeah, I could use this pack. Where'd it go? Wasn't any of those. Where? I didn't close it, did I? Oh, no, there it is. Yeah. All right, I could use this pack, but it has like playing cards. I was originally thinking that we could make a like a fantasy card that says something like, 1 mana, deal 5 damage, or like summon a fire dragon, deals 3 damage per turn. This would make you think that there will be more mechanics, but there won't be. It's just that's it. The game ends. So if we're gonna do that, I don't know what goes into any stuff with 3D. So like I assume it'd be easy enough to make a rectangle with a card back. But then we'd want to add some text on it. I guess we could also just 3D model that. But it'd need to be localized. So we'd probably add that in later. The most broken Yu-Gi-Oh card, yeah. How about we just search for, it doesn't need to be 3D. Yeah, how about we just search for cards? And game assets. All right, what do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Yeah, so something like this is pretty decent. They have 4 editable cards, that's it. And then icons. They don't even give you this character. So I was gonna say, if we had a character or a dragon or something on it, I think that'd be great. What about this? This looks a little bit amateurish. Wow, I'm surprised there isn't more in terms of card games. Oh wait, here we go. What's this? Oh, this is practically perfect. Yeah, Dark Elf Mage. That's a 1 card you get. It says summons a Dark Elf Mage, but you know, to whatever, it does something crazy. Yeah. And it's 60 cents. I mean, how can you go wrong? But if you get 774 more bundles, you just have to pay $49. There is almost no chance of me needing these other bundles. Yeah. This is not really an art style I would want to make a game in. Oh, hey, they got some spaceship stuff. But again, I would just pay the 60 cents. I'm not going to pay $49. Bought this recently. Oh yeah, I bought that too. I think I linked it to you. I think you asked me to. And I definitely plan on using that, but that'll be for a different game. One that's not supposed to be just a joke. Yeah, I could see myself using some of these if they're animated at least. I don't think they are. Well, I can't really tell. I don't think they are. But again, I wouldn't want to buy the whole. I don't need 775 assets for this stuff. I'm surprised. Are they using AI for this? What are they doing? No generative AI. Yeah, they're just drawing a lot of art. All right, well, I'm going to keep scrolling through and see if there's anything I actually do need for this, but I don't think so. Magic sprite effects. It's always cool looking at these to see what people do. These don't look super usable. Wow. I mean, look at the scroll bar. I'm not even halfway through and I've just been scrolling down gratuitously. They got like a million icons, a bunch of different characters. My goodness. Oh, that's kind of cool. So many things here. Oh, wait. They have other card packs? Undead. Well, well, well. So we could just pick the one. Oh, here we go. Fantasy card game pixel art assets. Well, well, well. And they have a free one. Although this doesn't have like very fantastical looking creatures on it or anything. It's just humans. So demon, halfling, fairy, warrior, and mage. Yeah, I think the dark elf one sounds good enough, right? What does this have on it? Yeah, I kind of like the dark elf wizard. Very, yeah. If they had one with a dragon on it, I think that'd probably be best. But I don't see any others. Card. Did I buy or get all these? No, I haven't gotten all these. Oh, this looks pretty good too. But I need to be able to fit text on it, and this has space for text. Is this all one person? I don't. How are they pumping out like this much stuff? But hey, 60 cents for the card. I think that's very reasonable. Yeah, I'm not gonna keep looking through the rest of these. Okay, so let's see. I liked the Dark Elf, that one right there. Oh, this is 70 cents. Oh, I see. They threw their elf character onto a card and they're selling it that way. Well, how do I get back to the original one that yeah, here it was. All right, what's their license? License, where's their license? They don't have a license? Uh-oh. Do they have it on here? Support? File licenses. Here it is. All right. Subject to your compliance with the terms and conditions of these terms, CraftPix grants you a limited, non-exclusive, non-transferable license. All resources purchased from CraftPix store, which is not technically the itch store. All right, to sub-license. You can use, copy, adapt, modify, prepare derivative works. Perfect. You can use them as many times as you like. Distribution is not permitted. You can sell and distribute games with our assets. Okay, so all that's exactly what I want. You cannot resell source files. That's fine. It's prohibited, authorized through third-party services. Must log in through your browser to use your account. I don't understand that part of it. Enterprise. I don't think this is a problem. Yeah. So did they mention itch on here? They don't. Well, I just won't buy this quite yet, but I'll maybe leave a comment here. What is the license for these? I found a license through CraftPix. But that only applies to assets purchased through the CraftPix store. Where's that? It doesn't mention itch. Yeah, okay. Post comment. Okay, so yeah, this is what we can use. I think this is good. So we're going to use probably, what, Dark Elf Mage? Yeah, sounds good. And then we have just enough text for a few lines. And they presumably do not include the font, because this person said, is the font included as well? And then the person never replied. Which actually, they're probably not going to reply to me either, right? Well, whatever. We can always make a new card. But yeah. So we got to have this land. We got to think about this. All right, sub games. Joke card game. Overview. The entire game is just a play on how card game usually means game with cards. But this would be a game with a single card that you play and then move on from. I just love it. Assets, this single card. A single card from here for 60 cents. Just need to make sure the license is okay. Otherwise, I need to buy through craftpix.net. I think the terms on their homepage. So this is where I found the terms on their homepage, but it says you get a license from purchases through the Craft Pick store, which is presumably like this site. It doesn't mention itch. And then their itch page doesn't say anything. So like if they apply the same license on itch, then awesome. This is totally fine. Hey Zorb, they have like a free sample. Oh, they do have a free sample. Yeah, I didn't think of downloading that. Let's take a look. All game assets on free game assets. What? Where's their card graphic? Oh my god. All right, let's just search for card, I guess. Wait, this isn't free. Why is it on free game assets? Here we go. Okay, yeah, let's download this. And let's take a look. Presented graphics are sold at an affordable price and has no restrictions on use in commercial projects. As well, you can freely use each project in a limited number. Where is that? Can you link it to me? Let's see if this contains a license file. Ah, there's a license file. It's only 35 bytes, so I don't know what's going to say inside. Oh, nice. It just links to this. Okay. Yeah. So it's probably fine. Whoops. I don't know what that was. What even just happened? All right, so I downloaded their free pack and it had a license which linked to this. So we're almost certainly fine. The free pack being... I'm never going to find that again, am I? No, here it is. Asset pack page. Okay. Literally the homepage below the menu. And okay, that's good. Do they have that on the other itch page that I found? Oh, it's free game assets. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I feel like they should put it on the page where they're selling this stuff, but I'll write that down here too. Yeah, their itch page has the license on there. Okay, sounds good. So let's play on the rest of the game now. So we're going to use this card. Do they have a picture of just... Yeah, here. This is so stupid. This is such a stupid idea. It's so funny to me, though. So here's your one card. Is there a card back? Oh, actually having a card back would be pretty important. Yeah, nice. There's a card back. Okay, so yeah. All right, so let's figure this out. So the card starts face down. The tutorial says, welcome to... we need some like appropriate name for a high fantasy card game. I don't want elf to be in the name. Yeah, I gotta think about this. Sky Castle, The Darkness Within. That sounds pretty good. How about we go with Darkness Within? Welcome to The Darkness Within, this realm's most popular card game. You're going to be battling against High Lord, I don't know. Magtharok. Start by drawing a card from your deck. You draw the card. It says Dark Elf Mage. It's got some numbers on it that makes no sense. This is so funny. Like, we don't need to explain what any of these little stupid gems do. There's a bunch of just, yeah, there's just numbers. There's some stars. I don't know. It's got that that makes it sound like it's going to do something amazing. Maybe like minion, or like summons a skull minion that attacks once per turn for the damage listed. Like, we don't even make it clear what the damage is. Hey, Luna. You have to flip a coin to see who plays first. Yeah. Okay, that's actually a good idea. Even in this realm, we play by the rules. Flip a coin to see who goes first. It lands on player. All right, start by drawing a card from your deck. You draw the card. It says Dark Elf Mage. It's got some numbers on it and stars that make no sense. It's got text that makes it sound like it's going to do something amazing. Summons a skull minion that attacks once per turn for the damage listed. Wow, that's a powerful one. And you have exactly enough energy, purple gems, and leaves to be able to play it. You draw the card. Your deck is now empty. This is so stupid. All right, so you play the card. You have defeated High Lord Magtharok. No, we gotta, I don't know, we gotta make it somehow clear that, like, this is a card game. Next time he says he will challenge you to a cards game. All right, that's it. Oh yeah, spitballing ideas is totally cool. As soon as you open it, you get completed the entire set. Like, open a pack, because you just have this one card. But yeah, there could be a joke achievement here. Playing 100% of the cards available to you in the darkness within. It's just no, it's just one card. Like, even Lord Magtharok has the same one card. It's the only card that exists. All right, so there's a board laid out with slots designated, presumably for playing lots of cards. You and your opponent each have a deck. Your singular cards start face down. Start by drawing a card from your deck. You draw the card. Your deck is now empty. It says Dark Elf Mage. It's got the numbers. Wow, that's a powerful one. You have exactly enough energy, purple gems, and leaves to be able to play it. You play the card. You have defeated High Lord Magtharok. Next time he says he will challenge you to a cards game. And then we need you to exit the game somehow. So maybe we should play out a little bit more story here. Defeated High Lord Magtharok and taken his kingdom. You are the new darkness, High Lord of Darkness. Magtharok vows that next time he will challenge you to a cards game. Okay. I don't think this will translate well because some languages don't have the concept of plurals like this. But yeah, we'll figure that out. So yeah, so how do you leave this game? Maybe you just advance the dialogue and it's done. Stupid. I absolutely love it. Yeah, this game is gonna last for like 20 seconds for you to, well, maybe 30 or something for you to get through the dialogue, and then that's it. You'll just be like, what just happened? Hmm. Maybe there was something underneath where your deck was, or maybe you like click a part of the card. Like you click the 20 or the skull or something. Well, you can't click, it's not you're using a controller. Hmm. Just to play one card. Yeah, maybe we lay it on a little bit thicker. I think it's already pretty thick to begin with, right? Welcome to the Darkness Within, the realm's most popular card game. You're going to be battling you're battling against you're battling High Lord Magtharok, ruler of the Shadow Realm and keeper of the Forgotten Tome. Even in this realm, we play by the rules. Flip a coin to see who goes first. Going to do something amazing. Someone's a Shadow Skull. Play the card. Some UI changes to indicate that you've spent these weird reagents. Well, we can't. The joke achievement would have to happen afterward. I don't want that to undercut the joke. Yeah, so you'd just be sitting here staring at a table with a card on it. Yeah, so I think that at this point, you should get a virtual cursor that you can move around, and you have to press interact on the skull on the card. It would cover the screen in darkness. And send you to the architect's realm. Maybe there, well, yeah. What would your sprite be at this point? Maybe it's the player inside of a card. Yeah. Hey, Alex. But for this tutorial, we won't actually need this resource. Well, I think this is at least a good start. I'll see how this plays out. Yeah, I'll see how this plays out. You lose the coin toss and you lose. He says you don't have as much skill as me. He takes back his realm. Being one of the stronger minions with a singular card draw. Okay, I'll go put this into the document under joke card game. But any of these other ideas, I think we'll wait and see if it needs something once we've developed it. So here's the whole game. Done. All right, cool. And who knows, maybe that joke won't land with some people. I think even if you don't really get the whole, like, we call it a card game, but it's really a cards game, even if that doesn't resonate, the thought that you just like played a card and won an entire battle where there were apparently high stakes would still be funny. So I think we've got like a backup joke pretty much. All right, next what I want to do is make another short game where you play as the hue slider in the character customization screen. This is why this hit me in the shower this morning. So many good ideas hit me in the shower. Well, I don't know for sure that it's a good idea yet, but it sounds like a good idea. So when you normally play the game, you start on this screen. You can customize all the different colors that are here. So we can change our eye color and our skin color and our shirt color. And I want you to come back to this screen at some point and be the hue slider. So you would be able to move around and like control your color, and the color would have an effect on something. Well, I would just italicize the whole word cards for that, Luna. I think that would make it a little bit clearer. But maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I'll see. I'll see how playtesters interact with it. Yeah, I want to make a game where you play as a hue slider. I wanted to bring the character customization screen back at some point and have you play as the hue slider. You could move around and change your color, and the color would impact some aspect of the world around you. Maybe it's a stealth game and you need to blend in with other UI elements around you. That would work perfectly. Yeah. Has anyone ever seen a stealth game like that? Where you're literally a hue slider? Hmm. What if you have to get her skin to match the background and she looks invisible and the game thinks it's a visual glitch and resets? Yeah, maybe it is something like that. Like there's a background color here and you need to match to the background color. So in this particular case, we pick like a darkish, like a bluish color like that. I mean, I guess you could change all of the components at once. In fact, maybe that's what you do. You're changing them all at once. Although they don't all have the same shading on it. So I guess that wouldn't really work. So in this particular case, we could do this. And try to blend in. And now you passed the visibility test. I mean, the eyes can only get so dark, right? Yeah, there. Can't get rid of the whites of the eyes. You change colors to match your environment to get past an obstacle. Oh, really? They do? Oh, man. I mean, that is pretty similar to what I'm talking about here. Imagine replacing the slider line with the actual character and have them move around the color. As in, like, the character is now here as the grabber handle. Because, yeah, I want to think about this a little bit more. I think a stealth game could potentially work. What else? I think it could also be some game about transferring liquids, and by changing the color of a container, the liquid can then flow out of it. Okay, you know what might be neat? Maybe you move the hue slider off the screen and you see player in an environment with an enemy watching them. You have a limited amount of time to pick the color that matches their background, the background. Well, I'm probably thinking of something pretty similar to whatever they're doing. I've never heard of that. I've heard of UFO 50. I've never played the game. I've never seen this camouflage game. And stealth is the first thing that came to mind because you're changing your color. Hey, Cypher. Actual temperature of objects or liquids by changing color. Solids could melt, liquids could evaporate. Yeah, something like that could also be kind of interesting. I think the stealth thing is a little bit clearer, maybe. Especially because we have some like hurt animations. They don't have time to pick the color that matches the background. You are changing all of their colors at once. Skin, shirt, hair, etc. We probably apply some like heuristics to make them all look closer to the same color. Maybe the player, maybe there aren't even enemies. There are just No, maybe you don't move the slider at all. Player moves on their own and is in some new environment where you need to match colors. Here's a video. It's called Camouflage. I want to be careful. I try not to watch this stuff so I'm not influenced by it. So I want to still just come up with some ideas and see how it feels first. I like the idea of you moving the hue slider like out of this thing. So imagine you got this screen and we like literally just, and it could even look like this in the game too. We literally just cut this out of here and now you can move around as a hue slider. And it could even just be a checkered background. Like I said, this could literally be the game right now. And you just move this out of the screen and the camera starts following you. And now you're in, yeah, some part where you have to change colors. In fact, maybe what you could do is change the color of the environment to match the play. No, that wouldn't make sense. The environment would change. Yeah, so what I'm picturing is, and this is not going to be exactly it, but let me see if I can find, I don't have this open anymore, do I? No, well, I'll just go find it. So here, we had a bunch of tile sets. So like this might be one of the scenes you have, but this would be the player graphic that we have from over here. So it would look like you, where is this? Yeah, it would look like you. And this background is mostly kind of grayish. So yeah, you'd pick a gray color. Then you keep moving to the side and all of a sudden you're in, apparently I did not click the right thing. Where's the mega pack that they have? Oh, there's some mega pack that has everything and I can't find it now. Oh my God. All right. I don't know how you're supposed to do this. I mean, I see. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay, great. I just wanted them all on one screen. Okay, so then there's this one. You need to pick like a brownish color maybe. And then you get to this one. You need to pick a greenish color. And at any given point, it'd hopefully be obvious, like the character would park themselves here in front of the green background. So you'd have to match that color. And maybe there's a timer or something. In fact, this would actually be a pretty good use for this particular artwork. In fact, if we're already reusing the character customization screen, it could be that we're reusing this too. Hey, Boolean. Okay, I think that can work. I think this is probably a decent idea. And the hue slider just stays where it is on the screen. You can only move the colors left and right. Yeah, so I think what I like best so far is you get to the character customization screen. You can only control the hue slider. You see it changing all of the player's colors. And then the player moves off the screen on their own in a scripted way. They may still jump and dash. They eventually land in front of an enemy on a single colored against a single colored background. You have to change the hue to match that background so that the enemy can't see you. We could potentially reuse the Dagon pack for all of this, since we're already reusing the customization screen. Better 19. Happy 20 stream streak. Yeah. Thanks for always dropping by, Boolean. How have your streams been going? How's everything been? What is that? Thank egg? What? What is Twitch doing with these emotes? Huh. I probably just don't know the story behind this. Okay, player moves on their own in a scripted way. She still jumps and dashes and runs. She eventually lands in front of an enemy. Or an enemy approaches her. You only have a limited amount of time. The enemy can go from a question mark to an exclamation mark, sort of like in Breath of the Wild. Just been so busy in real life. It's tough to get much dev work done. Like, thanks. Okay. Yeah, the being busy part, I was just trying to schedule something and I looked at my calendar and we are like swamped in the next couple of weeks. And I've been running playtests, and the playtests are taking somewhere between like 1.5 to 2 hours between playing and then talking about what they played. So I've spent like 8 hours in the last week doing playtests, and I've got another probably 2 hours tomorrow. But then that's it. I think I'm going to stop the playtest for a little while, and I'll just focus on some other stuff. I still haven't heard back from Valve, by the way. I asked about, I see an email at the top of my inbox from Steam, but it's about a game I wishlisted. Yeah, they haven't gotten back to me about whether I can stream putting a game on Steam. I don't know how long they're going to take, but I want to make the Steam page at some point, and I guess if I just have to do it off stream, I will. All right, so this general idea is decent. I don't know if it's great. I like the idea of you being able to move as a hue slider, but the problem with that is that if you move left or right, it would change the hue. So you'd have to move up or down. Maybe as you move, you notice the camera changing. That could potentially work. And yeah, maybe you only do move up and down. Have to figure out the protocol. That's my assumption too. Yeah. I think Cakes talked to them about it at one point, and I think Cake said that yeah, they pretty much have permission, like streamers can do this, but I want to hear it myself just to make sure, because it might be something where the guidance changed. It might be that, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they have some other thoughts about this. Okay. Well, um, I think we have enough to prototype here at least. Yeah. No, I did like the idea of physically moving the hue slider. Hang on one second. Hang on one second. Okay, sorry about that. My wife is home and was asking me about lunch, and I was like, "Oh, I was gonna make pasta." So then I had to haggle with her about like, "We'll do your idea for dinner, and we'll do pasta for lunch." Okay, so I gotta get going pretty soon, but I like the idea of physically moving the hue slider. However, left and right should always control the color. So you would probably only be able to move up and down. Maybe as soon as you start moving, the camera shifts to where the slider is. So it's obvious which direction you have to go in. Then you could lock in, like it could guide you downward and lock you in at the top of the world with different scenes where player is and for you to camouflage them. The final boss dinner plans. Fight a mighty chicken. Okay, this sounds pretty slick. I like this idea. Hue slide. Oh, what am I doing? This is not the right place. Subgames. What do we call this? Hue slider camouflage. So overview, you play as the hue slider from the character customization screen. You have to pick colors that will make player blend in with her environment. All right, general flow is this, and ideas this. Yeah. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so we've designed this. In the afternoon, I think we're going to take a look at wait, like maybe list out what I think would be good for checkpoint 3. So we have that Tetris game, we have the hue slider game. Oh, the joke card game. Oh my god. Was there anything else? Oh yeah, the quick time event battler. Maybe we can look at that again. Ninja landscaper? You spawn in a town as a ninja. You have all sorts of attacks and skills. You only get quests to do landscaping, which just involves cutting bushes and grass. I think we need to put some more thought into that one. And I really, really want to do a space shooter at some point. Maybe we'll design a space shooter. Maybe it could be the space shooter. All right, but for now, I gotta get going. Yeah, it's just about lunchtime. So I'm gonna go make some food. I'll be back in about an hour, and we'll be streaming again for another 2-3 hours in the afternoon. Probably more game design, probably a very light amount of development. I mean, I know we didn't do a lot. Also in terms of AI use, yeah, we got down to 66%. But thank you all for watching. Hope to see you again in the afternoon, and have a good rest of your day. If I don't, let me find my outro button. There it is. See you. Bye, everybody.